She told me she was keeping her options open while swiping through dating apps at breakfast. By evening, I had moved out, broken the lease, and left her an empty apartment because I finally chose the one option she never expected, a life without her that we'd been together a little over 2 years, long enough that we talked about moving to a bigger place, adopting a dog, even what cities we might want to settle in someday. Nothing concrete, but enough that I thought we were building something. Then came that morning. We were sitting at the small wooden table by the window, half asleep, drinking cheap coffee like any normal weekday. I was scrolling through emails, trying to convince myself to go to work, when I heard a familiar swipe sound. At first, I thought she was on Instagram. But no, she had Tinder open. At breakfast. In front of me. I blinked. She didn't even try to hide it. She just kept swiping, analyzing profiles like she was shopping for new shoes. What are you doing?" I finally asked. She shrugged casually, not looking up. "I'm just keeping my options open." Like it was the most normal sentence in the world. Like she wasn't sitting across from her boyfriend using dating apps. Like I wasn't supposed to care. I didn't yell. I didn't make a scene. I just watched her take another sip of coffee and swipe left on some guy named Adam with a dog. "Right," I said slowly. "Smart." She smiled, genuinely thinking I was agreeing with her, that I understood her little modern relationship angle. I kissed the top of her head, grabbed my keys, and said, "Have a good day." But I didn't go to work. I drove straight to a storage facility, signed a month-to-month unit, and started packing. I took only what I personally paid for: clothes, tools, electronics, the TV I bought last Black Friday, my guitar, and the kitchen stuff I owned. Everything else, hers. She could keep it all. By 4 p.m., the apartment looked like we'd been robbed. By 5 p.m., I stood in the leasing office signing the early release. They kept her portion of the deposit. I didn't care. At 6 p.m., I sent her a text. Kept my options open too. Chose the option without you. Then I turned off my phone. She came home to an empty apartment, an unlocked door, and a refrigerator holding nothing but a single bottle of water and her favorite oat milk. The messages she sent afterward? That's a whole story by itself. I turned my phone back on the next morning. It lit up like a Christmas tree. 27 missed calls, 43 texts, and 3 voice messages. All from her. The first few were confused. "Babe? Where are you? Why is all your stuff gone? Are you at the gym? Please call." Then irritation. "What the hell is this? This isn't funny. Why did the leasing office say the lease is broken? Did you seriously leave me with all the bills?" Then panic. "Please, please, please call me. I don't understand. I didn't mean anything yesterday. It was just a joke. Please come home." I didn't reply to any of them. Instead, I sat on the edge of my new mattress on the floor of my studio rental, the kind of place with street noise, cheap blinds, and a strange smell you can't identify, and just breathed. It was the first time in months I felt alone without feeling lonely. By noon, she showed up at my job. My coworker, who'd gotten used to her popping in for surprise visits, found me in the back room. "Dude, your girlfriend is here. She looks bad." I stepped out and saw her standing near the entrance, eyes red, hair messy, wearing one of my hoodies she must have dug out of the laundry hamper I left behind. "Why are you doing this?" she asked immediately. No hello. No apology. Straight to accusation. I leaned on a counter, kept my voice calm. "You said you're keeping your options open. I believed you." Her voice rose. "That was a joke." "Jokes," I said, "aren't done while actively matching with other people." She froze. Then came the expected speech. I could recite it by heart now. I wasn't actually going to meet anyone. Everyone uses dating apps casually. I was just bored. "You're overreacting." I didn't argue. I didn't shame her. I just said, "We clearly want different kinds of relationships." That made her crack. She sank onto a bench, hands shaking. "I didn't think you'd actually leave," she whispered. "People fight. They break things. They forgive each other. That's what couples do." "Couples," I said softly, "don't shop for replacements at breakfast." She covered her face, sobbing. Real, messy crying. The kind that makes everyone in the room uncomfortable because it isn't performative. It's raw. But something inside me was silent. Not cold. Just done. She finally looked up at me. "Please, come home. We can delete everything. We can reset. I'll do anything." "I don't want anything," I said. And I meant it. She tried another angle. "We have memories. Plans. People see us as a couple." There it was, the real reveal. Not about us. about image, about how it looked. I told her gently that I hoped she'd be okay and that she'd find whatever she was actually looking for. Then I walked her out, not touching her once. She stood outside the building as I closed the door behind her. I didn't look back even when she yelled my name. That night, she texted, "I'll wait for you." I didn't reply. The next morning, "Please talk to me." Nothing. Then, "I hate you." Then, "I'm sorry." Then, "Please come home." And finally, "I won't bother you again. I promise." I believed that. Except it wasn't true. Because the real unraveling, the messy, embarrassing, unmistakably Reddit-worthy part, still hadn't happened yet. Update point 3 days passed with silence. No texts, no calls, no surprise appearances at work. I thought that was it, the quiet fade out. A sad ending, but a clean one. I was wrong. On the fourth morning, while drinking instant coffee in my tiny new studio, I got a message from an unknown number. "Hey, this is Mark. I live with your ex now. Thought you should know what's going on." I stared at the screen. "Mark? Live with her now? What?" More texts came in rapid fire. "She brought home 2 guys since you left. She tells everyone you were toxic and abandoned her. She's been crying nonstop, but also going clubbing every night. She's spiraling, man." I had no idea who this guy was. Apparently, her roommate, someone I barely saw because he was always traveling for work. I replied, "Why are you telling me this?" He responded instantly, "Because she keeps saying she'll win you back. Everyone can tell she's about to do something stupid. Also, we're breaking the lease. She can't afford the place on her own." Oh, there it was. The logistical part. I typed slowly. "I already removed myself from the lease. She can handle her part." He sent a thumbs up. But then he added something that stuck in my chest. "She keeps sleeping wrapped in your hoodie. Every night." I sat with that for a while. Not sadness. Not guilt. Just a strange, distant ache. Like remembering a place that used to feel like home, but now feels like a dream you barely recall. I thanked him for the update and went on with my day. But that night, the unraveling hit its peak. It started with a knock. Not on my door, the building's door downstairs. Someone buzzed my apartment from the lobby speaker. I expected maybe a food delivery to the wrong unit. Instead, a shaky voice came through. "Please, it's me." Her. I didn't buzz her in. She buzzed again, and again, and again, rapid clicking like she thought speed would change my mind. Finally, she yelled into the intercom, "Why are you doing this to me?" As if I had done something to her. I walked downstairs, opened the front door, and stepped out, keeping the door behind me half open so I could go right back inside. She looked rough, eyes bloodshot, makeup smeared, hair tangled like she'd been running her hands through it all night. She was wearing the hoodie again, and she was holding a plastic grocery bag full of something. I couldn't tell what. She threw the bag down. Something clattered inside. She started, voice breaking. "Wanted to see you." I kept my tone neutral. "It's late." She nodded quickly, the way people do when they're trying not to cry. "I know. I know it's late. I know you don't want me here. I know you hate me." "I don't hate you," I said quietly. That seemed to shatter her more than if I'd yelled. She stepped closer. "Then come home. Please. Please just come home. I can change." A tear fell down her cheek, and she wiped it with the sleeve of my hoodie. Of her hoodie now, technically. She grabbed my sleeve. "I didn't love any of those guys. I didn't meet anyone from the apps. I was stupid. I was bored. I was scared you'd leave me first." Oh, there it was. The real truth buried under the chaos. Fear, insecurity, self-sabotage. I gently pulled my arm back. "This isn't fixable," I said. "Not because you're a bad person, but because we want different kinds of love." She shook her head rapidly, panic blooming. "No, you want loyalty. I can be loyal. I am loyal. I just—" "You were swiping at breakfast," I reminded her. Softly, not to hurt her, just to state reality. She stopped fighting then. Her shoulders slumped. Her hands dropped. She looked down at the grocery bag between us. Without looking up, she whispered, "I brought your stuff." "My stuff?" She nudged the bag with her foot. Inside were things I didn't take when I left. A book I'd been reading, a screwdriver set, a coffee mug my mom bought, and the small ceramic turtle she gave me on our first anniversary, something I didn't expect to ever see again. I bent down and picked up the bag. She swallowed hard. "Does this mean—" "No," I said gently. "It doesn't." A single tear slid down her face. She whispered, "Okay." Then, in one of the most painfully adult moments of my life, she stepped back, wiped her face, and said, "I won't come again. I promise." She turned and walked into the night, hoodie sleeves dragging, head down, disappearing into the streetlights like a ghost. I went back upstairs and closed the door, and I felt not victorious, not relieved, just deeply, quietly sad. Because endings like this aren't clean. They're not triumphant. They just are. The real finality, however, the one that shifted everything, came 2 weeks later. Final update. 2 weeks passed. In that time, I settled into a rhythm. Wake up in my tiny studio, walk to work, cook simple meals, fall asleep to street noise instead of her TV shows. Life didn't feel better yet, but it felt quieter, and that was enough. I genuinely thought the story was over. Then one night, right as I was locking up at work, my phone buzzed with a notification. One new voicemail from an unknown number. I almost ignored it. But something, maybe instincts, maybe closure, made me listen. It was her. Her voice was different. Not angry, not desperate, not hysterical. Just calm. "Hello. Hey, it's me." A long breath. "I'm not asking you to call back. I'm not showing up again. I just wanted to say I moved out of the apartment. I'm staying with my sister for now." Another breath. "You were right. About everything. I kept my options open because I thought that made me strong. Independent. But really I was just scared someone would see the real me and leave first." My throat tightened a little. She continued, "You didn't leave because you stopped caring. You left because you finally cared about yourself." There was a shaky laugh. "I know I made it really easy to paint me as the villain. And honestly, I probably was. But I just want you to know I'm not trying to twist the story anymore. I've stopped telling everyone you abandoned me. I told them the truth." Silence. A soft sniff. "I'm sorry I wasn't brave enough to love you the way you deserved. I really hope someone else will be." Then, almost a whisper, "Goodbye." The message ended. I stood alone in the closing shift darkness of the store, phone in hand, listening to the silence that followed her words. And for the first time since everything began, I let myself feel the full weight of it. Not anger, not triumph, just a complicated, heavy acceptance. The kind people talk about in our off my chest posts where love doesn't break cleanly, but dissolves like wet paper. Life after. A month later, I moved out of the cramped studio into a slightly bigger place. Started running in the mornings. Reconnected with friends I'd unintentionally isolated myself from while trying to manage her constant emotional storms. I even picked up a new hobby, woodworking, something I'd always wanted to try. People say you heal from breakups, but that's too tidy a word. What really happens is, you learn yourself again. You rediscover silence. You understand what behavior you'll never tolerate again. You see the red flags you once excused, not with bitterness, but with clarity. And somewhere along the way, you stop checking your phone expecting another voicemail. As for her, I heard through a mutual friend that she finally started therapy. She stopped partying. She got rid of the dating apps. Her sister's helping her look for a small apartment she can afford herself. I don't hate her. I don't love her. I don't wish her harm. I don't wish her back. We're just two people who reached the limits of what we could be together. She kept her options open. I chose one without her. And in the end, that choice saved both of us from a life defined by insecurity and resentment. The final lesson. Relationships don't end with one moment. They end with hundreds of small ones. A swipe at breakfast. A shrug. A careless remark. A slow drifting away from respect. A person forgetting that love isn't a default setting, it's maintained. She thought keeping options open would protect her from loss. But all it did was guarantee it. And me? I learned that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away quietly, without revenge, without spectacle, holding on to the last thing you still have. Your self-respect.